of these two guys, two of his disciples, their mother. A lot of times we don't see the parents of the people Jesus hung out with. But here in this text, we find him with the two boys and their mother. And these are called the sons of Zebedee. And if you go to Luke chapter 5, verse 10, you'll find that this is James and John. And they're considered the sons of Zebedee. And their mother is like most mothers. She wants what's best for her sons. She wants the best for them. She wants to make sure that they are getting the best that they can get. And so she goes out on a limb, you all, and she says to Jesus, she says, hey, Jesus, I need you to do me a favor for my boys. Let me ask you a favor. Let me give you a parenthetical thought real quick, and I think we got one. A parenthetical thought is this one. Don't try to get ahead by getting favors. Don't try to get ahead by getting favor. Do me a favor and give me a free, give me some grades I didn't deserve, or give me this, or give me that. Don't try to get ahead by getting favors, because what happens is that the people who gave you the favor, they end up coming back wanting favors at some point. But God has favor on our lives that he doesn't ask us to do anything for. And so let's just trust him. But she comes to Jesus and she says, watch this, in verse 21, she says, grant my sons spiritual leadership with you. She says, please ensure that one of my sons will be on your left side and one of my sons will sit at your right side in your kingdom. In other words, Jesus, when this is all over and you get to heaven, make my sons more important than everybody else that you come in contact with. Put them on your right and left side. Because the people who sat on the right and left side of a king, they were the king's boys. They were his. Those were the guys that he ran with. That was the most important people in the king's life. They ran with him. They knew all of his thoughts. And she says, look, Jesus, when you get to heaven, make sure my boys are sitting on your right and left side. Now, I said she wasn't looking for a position for herself. She didn't ask, can you make sure I get to heaven? She was more concerned about making sure that her sons got a position of power and prestige and wealth. But Jesus, again, goes countercultural in his answer. He goes totally opposite of what she wants. And in verse 22, here we go. My first point is this, in verse 22. If we're going to be a spiritual leader, if Berean Covenant is going to lead this community spiritually, the first thing that Jesus says is you got to be willing to die. The only way that we as a church will be able to lead Champaign, and I'm not just concerned about Champaign, but the entire nation spiritually, is you got to be willing to die. You cannot do it holding on to your own old ways. I don't like that, and I don't like her, and I don't like. Don't nobody care. If you the spiritual leader, you got to put what you feel up. You got to put it in your hip pocket. In verse 22, Jesus tells her. He says to them. Jesus says, do you know what you're asking? He asked her, he says, do you know? And realistically, the sons were standing there, so Jesus was actually talking to them too, because I guess he knew that they had already had this conversation with their mama, since Jesus knows everything. So he says to them, he says, do you all know what you're asking? You don't know. When you ask to be a spiritual leader, when you ask to sit on my left and right side, do you really know what you're asking? I thought about Barack Obama since he came to church today, and I thought about the fact that he is the most powerful man in the world. He's a black man who lived on the south side of Chicago, hanging out on the south side of Chicago, grew up in the south side of all over the world, but ended up raising his kids in Hyde Park on the south side of Chicago. And all of a sudden, here he is, president, the most powerful man in the free world right now. A black man has more power than anybody else in the free world right now. And I was like, man, that's got to be nice. That's just got to be nice. I mean, you black, you walk around. I probably be walking around with a little attitude, have a little dip to my walk, like, yo, what? What? And Barack got a little dip. He does. He got a little dip. Come on, man, I'm from the South Side and now I'm president. You know, I can swag a little bit because I'm the, what you gonna do to me? What you gonna say? All I gotta say is get it. As a matter of fact, somebody's listening to your phone call when you on the phone trying to make sure you never say I'm gonna kill the president. So when you pick up the phone, know that there's somebody, he's so powerful, there are people listening for code words that sound like you want to cause a threat to the president. And the moment you hang the phone up, Secret Service could be at your door. That's how powerful he is. And I don't know, I might like a little bit of that power. That just seems okay. But you know what? Along with that power, when I think about it, I don't know if I want what comes with it. And that's what Jesus was saying. Do you know what you're asking? When you ask to be president of the United States of America, do you really want to deal with all that comes with that? The consistent criticisms that Obama has. I don't care what news station you turn on, somebody criticizing him. Now, Bush did everything wrong. He's got the economy jump-started, coming back, and they still don't like him. But he's got power. He's consistently criticized. He's constantly disliked. There's so many folk who are Americans that don't like him. They just don't like him. Some people don't like him just because he's black. Yeah. Has no other reason. He's doing a wonderful job, but he's black. And they don't like him. And so when you ask for that power, do you really want to deal with what comes with the power? I saw on a National Enquirer front page said Barack was cheating with some woman in a hotel. I mean, he had pictures of this lady and pictures of him and pictures of his wife standing there angry. And he cheating with her in the hotel. What? Jesus says, hey guys, do y'all know what you're asking for? When you ask me that you want to be spiritual leaders in the kingdom with me, how do you handle negative success? There's a negative side to success. How do you deal with it? How do you handle it? I'll tell you how. You got to die. You got to not allow what other people say affect you. You gotta die. The stuff that gets you riled up and makes you want to cuss people out, you gotta die. You gotta get to a point where that stuff does. Because watch this. You can say what you want to say about a dead man. What? He gonna get mad? He gonna get upset? He gonna get out the coffin and just... You can't say what? He dead. So when he's dead to all the feelings that take him outside of who he is. He's dead. And what happens is when Paul tells us, Paul says in Galatians chapter 5, verse 24 and 25, Paul says, those who belong to Jesus Christ have crucified the sinful nature with the passions and desires. And watch this. He says, listen, those of us who say that we're saved, we've killed the flesh. The passions and the desires of the flesh, we've killed. We're supposed to be dead to that. In other words, I shouldn't have to, I ain't got to cuss nobody out because I'm dead. So what you say don't affect me to the point where it makes me walk in my flesh. The problem that we have is, though, we kill and we crucify the flesh. And as soon as somebody do something to us, we take it off the cross. Like, hold on, I got to put this back on one more time. Hold up. I'm going to get you told, then I'm going to unzip it and put it back on the cross. So as soon as I finish getting you told, and your mama, and your dad, and everybody, because since I got a sin, I'm going to tell everybody. I'm telling everybody. So I'm cussing everybody out. Everybody I wanted to cuss out for the last 6 months, I'm cussing everybody out, then I'm going to be saved again. So blank. Then I'm going to unzip and put it back on the cross. That's the problem. We put our flesh on the altar, but it keep rolling off. We put it there to make the sacrifice, but then the flesh just roll off the altar. Next thing you know, you wake up, it's right there again. You decide, I'm living holy. I'm going to be right. I ain't cussing nobody today. I am not going to have an attitude today. And you find, and that dead man all of a sudden seem like he right on your shoulder. And you just walking with this way, because that's the day when you decide you're going to live right, that's the day everything go wrong.